Well, it's interesting because on Crisis Fest, 'cause you mentioned it, you write reality is one big sick show. So is that in reference to kind of the political climate, not just in the United States, but kind of everywhere?
Yeah, I think so. Crisis is the most like on the on the surface, and I think that that's cool. We went through a lot of different lyrics for that song, and me and Nick went back and forth a lot about what it was going to be, and finally, really close to we were recording it, he brought in like a paper that just had a lot of the words that make it to the final version, and I was just like, oh, yeah, this is it. Can't be anything else. Like reality's one big sick show. So let's do it.
And well, I came across something that you do, Anger Can Be Power, which is an organization. And then I believe you also had a radio show in high school that kind of delved into these kind of issues.
Yeah.
So can I assume that it's important for you not just to make a nice song, but to make people think as well?
I think so. I think songs really do different things for different people at every time. You know, I don't think every song has to be educational or every song has to be a call to action. Sometimes you just need a song to cry to, you need a song to laugh with, you need a song to help you get through something, you need a song to help you understand who you are, to help you understand how you feel. And I like that outside of activism or thinking about politics too. But I think on the case of this record, we were able to, I think, weave it into the identity of the record, just because a lot of the record is about what it means to be a youth in the United States in 2018. But definitely, it's definitely an important part of my life and what I want my life to look like.
What is one thing that you discovered or realized about yourself throughout this process?
Yeah. I didn't realize it while we were doing it, but I realized after we finished that there's a lot of resilience on the record, I think. It's strength, but it's not like a necessary like big awareness. It's not like I'm strong. It's like more like I survive, I persevere. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that there's a lot of perseverance on the record, and more so like the wind and the water kind of beating you down and just being like, I'm still here. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna, give up. I'm gonna make it to the other side.
Where does the title track fit into that story? Because I wrote a line down, but I first want to...
Yeah. 22 is a really funny, really funny song. I really loved writing these lyrics. I felt like were kind of twisted, and then having these strings and everything kind of come up and make this like beautiful thing with a song that I feel like is a bit twisted. But yeah, it's about... I guess it's looking at the female experience and also the youthful experience, and this idea that you only have a moment in the sun. You only have, especially for women, you're always kind of, I can't have a baby after 35. You know what I mean? Like you're always kind of thinking about these things. That's really different than I think a male's development, and that was really interesting to me because as much as I have a bit of an awareness to the things I think I'm given because I'm young, and I'm given because I'm blonde, and it's heavy to understand that and know that can be taken away very easily. And the song to me is about my existence and female existence beyond how we look, beyond our attractiveness, beyond our unattractiveness, beyond our physical being. I know it's a bit extreme, but that's what it means to me is trying to give me confidence in actually what's underneath my skin.
And because you see this a lot, you saw it with Brexit, where there's a big discrepancy between younger and older generation. In the US, I think, in terms of the presidential election, there was a big discrepancy. Do you see an improvement? Do you see a shift in a way because all these bad things are happening, that people are now, well, we should take these young kids serious because they're making a lot of good points?
Yes and no. I think it's easy for the media to be caught up in this thought of youth too, and I think a lot of, with everything that's coming to the top, you have to look at all the things under this. You have to look at what the administration is doing really quietly. You have to look at who the judges they're putting in place in local governments that kind of slowly spread something else when you're not looking. So I think in general, it's exciting because people and young people are up against a wall. And if it's like in Crisis Fest, if we brought you into this place, we can take you out. I mean, if you're operating on the idea that the government is not corrupt and that voting really works, then if we want things to change, we can change them. We just literally have to vote, which most Americans don't.
Fair enough. I don't want to make it too political, so
No, it's okay.
I'll move on. But part of have you had reactions to the type of songs that you write? Because and then I want to mention, even though you delve into these kind of topics, they don't at all sound angry or depressing, the song. So is that also an important element? Not to make it too I don't know the right word, but to that it's weighing you down too much when you listen to a song like that? I think
it's similar to the idea of anger can be power too, right? Where it's like, what is anger as an energy? How can you use it? How can you expand on it? How can you channel it? And I think for us and for me, it meant, we brought you into this place, we can take you out. It was about understanding not just like the concept that you have power, but what does that mean? Does that mean that you need to push yourself harder to learn more? Does it mean you need to watch the news every day? Like, yes, we're young, yes, we're powerful, but how do we utilize it? I think that's a big thought that's in my head, and I think makes its way through the record, is like less a focus on the darkness and more a focus on hopefulness in us understanding what we can do.
All right. It's getting a bit loud, so I'm gonna wrap it up a little bit. But there's one more thing I kind of want to delve into, which is the live shows. And this is always a difficult question, I suppose, to answer. But what is the feeling of going out on stage and playing the music that you wrote?
I think it's a very addictive feeling, and I think that's probably why people keep doing it, even though touring is hard. I get like a feeling every time I walk up the stairs towards the stage, and even no matter what kind of stage it is, sometimes it's like, sometimes it's 20 people, sometimes it's 10,000 people. Like, it's just every time, because it's a show, there's this feeling of responsibility almost, and like, now's the time. I can't hide, I can't run, I can't stop it. Everything's in motion. I have to walk up these stairs, and after I walk up these stairs, I'm going to be on stage for an hour, and who knows what is going to happen up there. And I think that is really special. It's like, it's really different than, working in an office or something. It's like, it's excitement. It's excitement.
And I think you did one of your biggest shows not too long ago in London.
Yeah.
So what is that like then? If you like you say, you don't really know what's going to happen. So is it very nerve-wracking? Is it, or does your kind of consciousness kind of go away? And it's just.
Well, you know what's funny? In London, we had it was our biggest headlining show, and we were playing I think 1,200 people, and we had a lot of difficulties with Nick's gear, and it was really frustrating. But we didn't stop the set, and we didn't walk off, and we just went on. We did a cover of Harvest Moon by Neil Young with just me on bass and Jacob on drums. And we played our song Only a Moment in the encore. And I always think about the chorus of that song, which says, "You're exactly where you're supposed to be." And I was trying to remember as I was playing it, and singing it, I was trying to listen to it. And I was like, no matter what this is, like no matter what's happening, this is where I am. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that's just what that is, you know. I mean, I think that we can handle a lot of stuff being thrown at us. You know, technical difficulties or any of these things aren't really going to shake us. So I don't get nervous. I get like kind of like it's like the anticipation.
Final question then, because the band is on an upward trajectory, but you come from this more underground DIY background.
Yeah.
So what is the ambition?
The ambition, I think, is for us to be who we are and to make the work we want to make it and be as uncompromising as we can, while making stuff that's really good and really important to the most people. You know what I mean? There's one, you know, if you're playing in your room to yourself, that's wonderful. But I think for me and for the boys, it's very communicative. And the song isn't really at its full potential until it gets to people and they can start taking their own interpretations and their own meanings. So I think the ambition is to go deeper, to be weirder, to be more musical, more melodic, more, you know, just do it. Just do it. Really, really do it. Not be afraid.
One very last thing then, what is one of the best reactions you had from a fan or from somebody who heard your music?
Oh, we get a lot. We get a lot on this record, and a lot of them come directly to me through Instagram, and I read them, and that's a really cool thing about technology right now. Is like, for better or for worse, there's this direct communication between me and people who listen to the music, and just a lot of people that are also in this headspace, that are 21, 22, and like I'm turning 22, and this album is gonna be the record for the year for me, you know, or like this is defining this moment for me, and that makes me happy. All I really wanted for the record was for it to get to people and for it to make them feel something. And when it does that, I think it's doing what it should. And I can't ask for anything else.
Julia, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.